Okay, welcome everybody to the Royal We Live. We are starting completely over from scratch. I dismissed the last stream because YouTube was messing up my style, man. YouTube's algorithms or uh, YouTube is messing. YouTube is really cramping my style, man. YouTube is messing up. YouTube is messing up big time, man. They're making sure my audio is not coming through. They're doing all kinds of crazy stuff because YouTube is crazy. So hopefully, I'm gonna get some of you on right now. All right, Tanya's in. Hopefully, Tanya, the audio is better. I'm getting all kinds of weird messages here saying error. YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. Bunch of baloney, man. Baloney. YouTube, just admit it. You suck. You suck, YouTube. You suck bad tonight. All right, Dusty Dawn's in here. Speedster Speedy. Still choppy. Still doing it. Listen, nothing I can do about it at this point. I mean, I did everything I could. I even started the stream over. I started the stream over completely from scratch. There's absolutely no reason it should be messing up. This is strictly YouTube. YouTube is causing this mess, man. They're causing this chaos because they don't want good people on YouTube. They want people doing raunchy stuff on YouTube. That's all they want, right? Can I get an amen? Still bad. Just let it be. All right, well, we'll just keep going. We'll keep going. Hopefully in the playback, it won't be all messed up. Hopefully YouTube will get their act together. Stop messing up people's stuff, man. We'll all find other platforms to operate from. That's fine. We can do that. We'll go to Vimeo. I heard Vimeo doesn't mess with people's stuff. I heard Vimeo keeps things going. So, anyways, like I said, we'll find other avenues. That's BootTube. Now you're buffering. Worse than before. You're being attacked by BootTube. Buffering now too. All right. Well, let's just keep going, right? I'm happy that you're all here. Tanya's here. Brian is here. D-Doll, you're here. It's good to see you. Mike Wilson, good to see you. Free to be me is here. Shadow Dancer, how are you? Danny May, how are you? Could also be tonight because there was a storm that came through, just rolled through St. Louis, as I was talking about earlier. It just came out of nowhere. It was about 80 degrees today, and then suddenly it started raining on my head when I was out having a little fire out in the backyard. I like to sit around the fire, little fireplace out in the back, and do some thinking to myself. And suddenly it started raining on my head, and I looked up, and there wasn't any rain clouds, but it was windy. The wind came out of nowhere, right? I mean, the corners of the earth just spat wind our way, and raindrops were coming from God knows where. It hit me right in the face. It was really weird. So, but we'll continue on. So this storm may have something to do with the buffering effect. I like Fifi LaFleur. Is YouTube run by narcs? Probably. I'm pretty sure they either that or they just don't know what they're doing, right? Nobody is at work at YouTube, Shadow Dancer says, right? Because, and the reason is this COVID, this Corona virus has YouTube even scared, man, and nobody's over there. So nobody's there to monitor and make sure things are running smoothly. We're all doing videos, and YouTube is asleep, right? So, anyways, perhaps speak way slower. All right, I'll speak slower. How's this? Let's go ahead and get in. Let's go ahead and get started. I don't know what all you're going to catch from this because of this whole mess and debacle, but that's all right. We're going to keep going anyways. Let YouTube try and do their mess. Let them try and mess things up. What we're going to do is we are going to venture on tonight. Right? What are we going to talk about tonight? Let's have a topic tonight. How about it? I want to talk about a question that came up on the Facebook support group, and that is what happens. And this is the Facebook support group on Facebook, right? The Facebook support, the only Royal We Facebook support group. Most of you are already involved in that. One of the questions popped up: what happens when you show your strength to the narcissist? Now, this is something that we all would like to believe we should have done better, right? Shown our strength. But the reality is that we did show our strength to the narcissist. You showed your strength, which is what caused everything to go south to begin with. The narcissist is happiest when you are just subservient, submissive. You don't get too deep. You don't get personal. You don't ask questions, period, right? You just do whatever it is they want you to do. You go along with whatever they want you to go along with, right? When your strength starts to peak is when you start to say, hey, wait a minute, what's going on? This relationship sucks, right? Here I am doing everything and I'm being abused and cussed at and called names. And so you start to question it. Now, the moment you start to question the relationship is the moment you're actually showing strength. You're showing your strength. You're showing, no, it's not going to be this way. You're not going to put up with nonsense at all. And so what happens? Because that's the question. Will narcissists back down? Will the narcissist see how strong you are? The answer to that question is yeah. The narcissist will see your strength. The bad news about it is they will flip the script. They'll flip the roles. And instead of them being abusive to you, they will then run their smear campaign that you are the abusive one, when all you're doing is being strong. They will turn your strength into labeling you as judgmental, selfish, mean, toxic, and antagonizing. So as you're trying to as you're trying to show your strength in the situation, you're going to be labeled as being antagonizing. As you're trying to ask questions and be assertive and say, listen, stop calling me names, the narcissist is going to say you're antagonizing them. Okay? Because they're not able to have a relationship with a mutual understanding. They don't operate like that. There is no mutual understanding with them. All right. So that's all I got for you on this. What I'm going to do is open up the phone lines. If you can look up behind me, the telephone line is right there. I would love to hear your questions, your comments, right? We're here for you. Go ahead and give a phone call, right? The phone is on. I'd like to hear your comments on that. I really would. Because the reality is that that's something that we all think. We all look back and wonder if we're strong enough. Do we stand up for ourselves enough? I'm under the impression that we did, right? If you're out of the relationship, if you've gotten no contact, I'm under the impression that you did stand up strong enough. You stand up so strong that it caused the narcissistic rage, right? It caused them to look at you as being a bully, abusive, and a terrible person. That's how much you stood up, right? In other words, you told them, no, you're not going to get what you want from me and just get away with it. And when they heard that, they're like, oh, well, you're just mean, you're toxic, blah, 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 blah. In turn, that hurts you even more. It makes you feel guilty. It makes you feel hurt. Don't feel guilty. Don't feel shamed. You ended a selfish one-way relationship where you were being used. Don't feel guilty about that. Listen, I don't feel guilty about walking away from siblings, in-laws, people who are not interested in my understanding and my take on what was taking place in the family. They were only interested in their own selfish ideas and thoughts and how they should be able to call me names and say whatever they want to say. And the moment I said no, they got mad and they go, oh, Kevin's antagonizing us, because I'm the type to ask questions, right? I am that. This is how I handle stuff. Let's talk about this. What's going on? Why are you calling me names? Why are you cussing in my direction? And they took that as offensive. Look at Kevin antagonizing. Right? Okay. And as they said that, they kind of cornered me into being this bad person, so I just walked out. All right, I'm out of here. You think I'm a bad person? Fine. See you later. Peace out. I'm out. I'm done. I'm not going to be your bad guy. I'm not going to be your scapegoat. But that's what narcissists do. They turn a person who is strong into a mean bully, mean toxic person. Don't buy into it. Be strong. Be strong. Stay away from them. Stay no contact. I hope that this makes sense to you. Hope that this makes sense to you. All right. Yeah, it has to be YouTube. It is YouTube. So I'm gonna look through all this, see if I can find any questions going on here. Any questions from everybody? Craziness, buffering again, but not lagging behind. Didn't even know that was possible on YouTube. All right, we're going to take a phone call from Lincoln, Nebraska. Lincoln, Nebraska, you're live on the Royal We.
Kevin, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you? Can you hear me okay?
Well, I'm doing. I can hear you on the phone. You were having a lot of audio problems when you were on the air, but I can hear you now.
Yeah, it's really weird. YouTube has been really acting up tonight. I got an error message saying that it's streaming slow or something. It's really weird, really weird. Could be the weather, could just be YouTube. We don't know. But how are you?
Well, I'm doing well. Doing well, thanks. Hope you and your family are doing well.
We are. Thank you.
Good. Hey, listen, from what little I could hear, you were really on the right track. And as always, you hit the nail on the head. And I think for some of our new members, they need to kind of get their minds right with the fact that this could even escalate even further than what you were trying to describe to a possible legal situation. My narc went into the court system and lied and documented things that never occurred.
Right.
And just took a whole host of legal steps that were never challenged. And just because she was a better actress, she got it pushed through. It
Right.
cost me a career, just a whole myriad of legal steps.
Right.
So,
Right.
people that are just kind of awakening to this, I would suggest that they very much want to be cognizant of that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Narcissists are not above calling taking a legal route, calling the police, actually claiming that you're abusive. Okay. I've talked to people before. I've talked to a gentleman who was with a woman who was very, very controlling, a control freak in the relationship, very abusive. And when he stood up for himself and said no, she did not hesitate to contact law enforcement and say that he was abusive. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Broke his heart, and he had to spend a night in jail, went through the whole thing. And it just blew my mind. And I was like, dude, get away from this woman and get away fast. She is dangerous. She is bad news, right? And
Yep, absolutely.
And so you bring up a great point. This could go both ways, right? When you talk about a narcissistic personality, it's a disorder. And if they're not being the aggressive bullies, if they think you can outstrength them, or if they find that you are standing up to them, then they will play the victim. Okay, so here's how narcissism works. They can either be the bullies or they can be the victims. There's no equality. They're one or the other. But either way, they win. They win if they're a bully, and they also win if they're a victim. Either way, they get supply. If they're a bully, they get patted on the back for how tough they are. If they're the victim, they get hugged and kissed and whatever and sympathized with. So this is what you have to be aware of.
You're absolutely right, and I want to be very clear on the fact that I never, ever would advocate raising a hand to a woman
Never.
Under any circumstance.
Right.
But I just want to say it again, for you men that are just starting to listen to Kevin, pay attention. He's absolutely right, and be prepared, because it's like this coronavirus going to get a lot uglier before it gets better.
It could. Absolutely. Absolutely. There's a lot of desperateness out there. And when people get desperate, they can resort to desperate things, men and women alike. Right? And so we all have
Absolutely.
we have to be on our guard. Just like with this coronavirus, we have to protect ourselves, and same thing in our relationships. We have to be very, very conscious of what we're doing, who we're letting into our homes, who we're letting into our personal space, who we're letting in intimately, who we're sharing personal information with. We have to be very careful, right? And I believe that it's something that we lost as a culture and as a society. We lost this some time ago, maybe in the 70s, 80s. I don't know, when the hippie movement happened, where the whole free love thing started happening, and before you knew it, everybody was just loving each other, and there was no more privacy. There was no more conscious effort to be protective of yourself. And now we're dealing with the consequences of that. There's so much craziness and so much of a mishmash between good and evil. It all looks the same now. It's a big gray area, and we are all living the consequences of that, if that makes sense.
Absolutely does. And as always, you're spot on with all of your comments. And I just wanted to really emphasize that for our newer members and listeners, because it's serious, serious stuff.
Yeah.
You're not playing around with this. And especially for men, you better be prepared, because many parts of the country do not look fondly upon the male gender.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah, men do get a lot of the short end of the stick of narcissistic abuse. I will admit that. I know that I deal with a lot of women. There's a lot of women here in the Royal We family. It's predominantly women, and that's because women do go through abuse, because there are a lot of men who are shady. There's a lot of men who are out there who simply do what's called peacocking or whatever, sleeping around, playboys, and that's part of the culture. They use women for their bodies and have no intention of taking care of them. And a lot of women fall victim of that. At the same time, I have to acknowledge that there's a lot of women out there who, an equal amount of women, who are out there like prowling scorpions, black widows, to devour men, either for their money, for financial gain, or just to have the power of destroying a man, a good man, who they seduce, and the man really does fall in love with them. It happens. I hear plenty. It's not spoken of enough because most men don't want to talk about it. Most men walk out of these situations going, what the heck just happened to me? That was evil. It was wicked. That woman destroyed me. I cry every night now, but I don't want to talk about it. There's no way I'm going to tell my friends. They will call me a sissy, right? And it's unfortunate, right? More men need to come up and say, oh my gosh, no, a woman absolutely destroyed my life. Because we got to break through this thing of, well, only women are victims. No, they're not. Even the women here, if they're honest, the women here will say, yeah, we know girls that are crazy, and will do crazy things to men. And if they were to say, no, women are perfect, women are always the sweetest little victims, then they'd be lying, right? So so we know that, but you're absolutely right.
Well, I want to share one last time that for the younger listeners, younger men, you're no less of a man by saying to a trusted male friend, I need help through this. You just have to be willing to reach out, pay attention, you guys, to what Kevin's putting out there. But I just wanted to share that. One last quick question.
Right on.
Just wanted to check. You haven't broken that new drone yet, have you?
Oh, yeah. I've gotten some great shots. Absolutely.
No. I said you've not broken it, have you?
Oh, no. Oh, no way, man. Are you kidding? That the Royal Wee baby, man. It is. That thing is handled with mittens. I mean, I'm not contributing for another one, so just beware. Listen, I fly it, and then I wipe it down with soft baby wipes when I'm done flying it, because it is just that special to me. And I do have a lot of great footage with it that I can't wait to share, and that I have shared on some of the videos. And so yes, so thank you.
Well, be well, and I just encourage you to keep doing what you're doing.
Right on. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Take care.
You too. Good night.
Bye.
All right. The phone line is still open. We're going to be taking telephone calls. I hope that you all can hear me still as we're continuing on. I'm going to look for some questions or some things that are being talked about in the the stream chat here, and to see what's going on. Any questions going on? Anything that people are talking about that's of special pertinent issues here. I know that I did just briefly speak about how I personally am under the impression that when it comes to narcissistic abuse, again, narcissistic abuse is not just physical. It's not physical aggression that's based on strength. Narcissism is psychological warfare. It's psychological aggression. It's soul breaking, manipulation, gaslighting. And how many of you are aware that women are just as capable of destroying men's lives with these tactics as men are, being physically abusive towards women? It happens. I've talked to many men who have been psychologically abused, lied about, smeared. Stories have been exaggerated, and it's heartbreaking, right? It's not, narcissism is not something that is more men than women. It is equal across the board. As a matter of fact, the statistics, according to the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence, they have actual statistics of psychological abuse, and it's actually 48% of men experience psychological abuse by women, and it's less than that of women who experience psychological abuse by men. It's something like 46% or 45%. So almost half the men in the world experience some form of psychological aggression, some kind of manipulation and trickery by women. 48% of men, half the men of the population. 47% of women experience that. Okay. Now, obviously, when it comes to physical aggression, the numbers are changed drastically. Women experience more physical violence than men do. Okay. However, they don't go in a great deal when they say psychological aggression, but I'm telling you, if it's counted as abuse, psychological abuse, then it's pretty bad. If half the men in society experience psychological abuse, if it's being reported, it's pretty bad. It did some damage to that guy. Women need to stop thinking that, especially women who watch these channels, need to stop thinking that they're not capable of hurting guys. Women are capable. Women have hurt men in a lot of ways, right? Again, narcissism is something that could potentially affect us all from time to time. And when you have a man who is showing their love towards you and you decide that you just don't like it, be very careful how you tread on the man in that situation. Let's go ahead and take this call from, I didn't catch where it's from. You're live on the Royal We.
Oh, hi, Kevin.
Hi there. Where are you calling from?
Utah.
Utah.
Actually.
Utah.
Yeah, this is Shadow Dancer.
Hey, Shadow Dancer. Utah Shadow Dancer live on the Royal We. How are you doing?
Oh, good. I think I'm lagging behind because I was watching and you're still talking to that other fellow.
Not anymore. Now you're on. Yeah.
Okay.
There's a buffering. YouTube is acting so weird tonight. So weird. But
yeah, I got a message saying that nobody was working there and they had the algorithm bots working.
Probably. It's probably why.
Yeah.
So what's going on?
But anyway,
Dancer.
I just wanted to say that I don't think narcissism has a preference as to whether it's male or female. I think it doesn't discriminate at all.
Agreed.
And they're equal across the board.
Agreed.
But I just wanted to tell a little story that's kind of different about my own power once I confronted my narcissist. The SWAT team ended up showing at my house because he was out of control and had a gun. And when they got here, because I had been ill, I was covered with bruises. And they were ready to haul him to jail because they thought he had hurt me and didn't believe what I said, that he did not hurt me. So my power came in standing up for him because I could have had him hauled off to jail on false charges.
Right.
And the fact that I did stand up for him made him so angry that he looked at me before they made him leave, and he said, "I'll never forgive you for this."
That's wild.
And he didn't. He never ever forgave me for that. It was, that was probably my final power stand with him, because once the cops finally showed up, he didn't ever come back anymore for a long period of time. And we'd been married for 23 years, so
Yeah.
for him to
Wow.
just never come back was very strange.
Well, I think you did the right thing, right? If you weren't physically assaulted by him, then you did the right thing by saying no, this has nothing to do with him. And but it's very interesting that how that played out. It really is, and
It was very odd.
very odd. That is very odd. Again, narcissism can be so unpredictable. It can be so unpredictable. They really do. One thing's for certain: narcissists can get offended when they look at you as being a better person than them. Nothing triggers narcissism and narcissistic abuse more than them looking at you and telling themselves that's a good person and I'm not and I'll never be. That triggers their rage more than anything. Okay, and
It did.
I experienced that too with the narcissists I've dealt with. And it seemed like any time I would say, "Listen, you can call me whatever name you want. That's okay. You're entitled to that. Your opinion." And maybe I sounded sarcastic, but I was trying to get them to stop calling me names. But it sent them through the roof. The fact of hearing somebody say, "Hey, you can call me whatever you want. You're entitled to your own opinion." They get mad at that type of stuff. Oh, you think you're so much better? No, you can say whatever you want. That's fine. Oh, you're not perfect and blah 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 blah. They hate it when somebody else is actually being better. They hate it. They can't deal with it.
Well, what I did was I didn't let him be a victim. He really wanted to present himself as being a victim to the
Right.
police, and he couldn't. And so that took all the power out of his victimization, and
That's awesome.
he had nothing. He had no leg to stand on.
That's awesome. There you go.
So
There you go.
just being the person that I am and telling the truth
That's it. That's it.
and being authentic took his power away.
That's it. You hit the nail on the head with something here. Anybody who wants to know how to really get under a narcissist's skin, right? Because a lot of people are like, how do I get back at the narcissist? Should I call them names too? Should I accuse them? Blah, blah, blah. No, because you're playing their game. And when it's fake, they got power over you. But when they don't have power over you is when you're just authentically you. When you're being yourself, when you're being genuine, when you're being truthful, honest, and your joyful self, nothing irritates narcissists more than that. I mean, that's what started their anger. That's what started their anger towards you to begin with. So if we could all find that place where we're back to just ourselves, they don't bother us anymore, right? We're not there starting fights. We're just being factual. We're being honest. Trust me, the narcissist will run from you. They can't deal with that. They hate it. They hate it.
They don't know how to play their game there.
That's right. That's right.
They don't know how to play their game there, and so they will. They'll run, and mine ran and stayed gone.
Good.
And I did no contact after that, and it's been 5 years. So
great.
And I'm better off for it. So I just wanted to share that because I think it's a little bit of a different take on exposing a narcissist weak spot. You know what I mean?
Right. Absolutely. Well, I'm glad you called. Thank you.
Well, thank you for listening, and thanks for picking up.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
All right.
Nice talking to you, Kevin.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, telephone number is still up. We have time for one more telephone call, whoever would like to call in. And I'm going to go through and look for some of the questions here. And it looks like Monique McPhee. Apparently, I've hurt the ex-narc for leaving without a word. I saw a question there from Monique McPhee. What was the question? Monique? It was like something to the extent of, so Kevin, there we go. You should not take on others' burdens for the sake of non-accountability and non-responsibility. That's an interesting question. I'm going to try and break this down. So, Kevin, you should not take on others' burdens for the sake of non-accountability and non-responsibility. No, you shouldn't take on people's burdens, period. If someone else has burdens, that's their responsibility, right? Don't take on any burdens for non-accountability, right? Not at all, right? Don't be accountable for other people's issues and problems in life. Take accountability for your own issues, period, right? Hope that makes sense. That's a difficult one. I'm maybe I'm not understanding the question correctly. The play on words there. You should not take on others' burdens for the sake of non-accountability. Maybe it's a play on words. Maybe perhaps Monique, if you could ask that question in a little bit different way, so it makes make some sense, or not makes so I can answer. My answer can make some sense, if that makes sense. All right. Well, I'm happy that you are all here. Any more questions in the chat? Let's see. Scrolling up. All right. Well, with that, all right, we do have another phone call from Las Vegas, Nevada. Las Vegas, you are live on the Royal We. How are you?
Okay, Kevin, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing good. What's going on over there in Las Vegas amongst all this craziness right now? I mean, Las Vegas is typically the city that never sleeps, but what's it look like right now?
Well, we're all basically quarantined as far as I know. I mean, I'm just another resident that's been told by his bosses to stay home. So
wow,
it's not like I've been roaming around the strip or anything trying to see what I can do for fun or anything. I just live here.
Yeah. But since you're close to that strip area, is it all shut down over there? Is the strip shut down? Hotels all shut down?
I just told you that I'm at quarantine.
You don't know? Okay.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that none of the casinos are open.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna care to run out there and find out.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember when I lived in California, I visited quite a bit, but it's just hard to imagine without being there. It's hard to imagine all the lights turned off. You know what I mean? It would just be be wild. So, but if that's what's going on right now and that's what's being ordered, then that's what you have to do. So, right on. Well, how are you doing tonight?
I'm good, thank you. Thanks for taking my call. My question is, as much as, I know that a lot of times we're trying to talk about ways to cope with negative behaviors and negative feelings in our relationship.
Right.
Okay. So we sometimes assign this word narcissist to describe someone else.
Okay.
But I guess I have two questions now. The first question is, whenever there's a disagreement between two people and they're trying to get back on the same page,
right?
Aren't the two people going to describe the story as they felt it and as the argument came up and why things came up? And so aren't both people going to try to explain how, they felt?
Yes, they are, as a matter of fact.
So isn't it true that anybody that's ever been in an argument ever is a narcissist?
No.
Okay.
No.
Well, I'm listening now.
Right. So when you have an argument, right, and you're going to have an argument with people and you're going to have disagreements with people, now the key is being able to listen to another person and try to understand their side of it, and then also have your side of it, and to see if you can work a way of understanding to the middle, okay? But now the absence of that, the absence of trying to understand the other person's side, taking a minute to think about what they're saying, now you're getting into narcissism. Because narcissism, the general rule of thumb is, I don't care about your side. I only care about mine. I don't hear anything coming out of your mouth because I don't care about you right now. I just care about me. That's narcissism, okay? And that's habit forming. And in relationships, when that becomes the habit, I don't care about you and what you have to say, I only care about me. Now we start getting into narcissistic abuse. And the other person is emotionally, spiritually beat down because they have nowhere to go, no one to listen to them, no one to understand what they're trying to say. It's either live under that or leave. And hopefully they choose to just get up and leave. Does this make sense?
Yeah.
So in relationships, you're going to have disagreements. But the empathy side of relationships is, all right, let me hear where you're coming from. Let me try to understand your point of view. What are you missing right now? What's hurting you? What's bothering you? And hopefully if they're two people with empathy, then that person will have an opportunity to be honest and say, listen, it's bothering me when you called me this name last week. You called me a bitch and it just hurt me. It took me back to a place when I was young and older. My mom's ex-husband called me a bitch and it destroyed me and it reminded me of that. And then you can say, oh my gosh, I didn't know that. I apologize. I want to make sure I don't call you that because that's not cool, right? That right there is a healthy way of resolving an argument that shows you still care for the person, you love for the person. You're not only thinking about yourself, you're thinking about the relationship. Now, in the example, a narcissist would handle it this way, okay? The person will start to be broken down, will be upset, and a week later will say, listen, I can't deal with the name calling. A narcissist will say, well, what are you talking about? Well, you called me a bitch. A narcissist will say, oh, did I? Oh, what? Like, what? When? It was like a week ago. You said it in an argument. Oh, I don't know. I didn't. No, I didn't. I don't remember. You did. And it hurt me. Oh, stop. I don't remember. And first of all, I don't remember. Second of all, everybody calls people names from time to time. Stop acting like a victim. Stop acting like a victim. You're not a victim. Quit it. Stop being so sensitive. You're so sensitive. You can't even take a joke. And as this is going on, narcissism, again, you're destroying the soul of that other. You're beating that person down mentally. They feel like they have no one to listen. Yeah. So hopefully now you can see the difference between a healthy argument where two people who have empathy, mature empathy, can work through and resolve the issues versus narcissism, where it just becomes an all-out war of, I don't care about you, I'm going to win. And that's narcissism. So there's a clear difference. Yeah, and that's what we're talking about.
That's one of my coworkers and my mother right there. I went and visited my mother in 2019. Mm-hmm. And, I was feeling bad because I was at dinner and I was there without a date.
Right.
The reason I was there without a date is because my mother got in the middle of my new relationship and tried to bring an old girlfriend into it. The new girlfriend ended up getting jealous when I wasn't interested in the old girlfriend at all. My mom was interested in interfering with my new relationship.
Right.
So magically, the last dinner that I had with my mom was spent by myself, and I was overwhelmed with sadness that I allowed my mom to beat me in another game again.
Right. Yeah.
I don't understand. And then now I have the ex-girlfriend calling. Now she calls me, and now I have to. Now I'm wondering. Okay, so we just talked. So now what game are we playing now? When is it okay? When I send that text the next day after the long-awaited phone call saying it was good to hear your voice, I'm glad you're doing okay,
right,
etc.
Right.
So what's the play now? I didn't get a response from the text. I was trying to send a text to show the appreciation for having heard from her.
Right. Right.
So I didn't get a response yesterday. I haven't gotten a response today. Are her thumbs like, does she have a thumb disorder or an eye disorder? She can't see a text on the phone. I mean, I'm not asking for somebody to, listen to every last one of my thoughts. I am asking for somebody to at least respond. We haven't talked in a couple of weeks. So if I reach out for a text the next day, something should be sent back, shouldn't it? Or are we all just going to ghost each other and try to get the other person to blame themselves? Because all of a sudden I've been doing fine up until yesterday.
Yeah, and what you're saying is absolutely part of it. Ghosting, right? That's a part of narcissism. It's a game, part of the game. Absolutely.
I don't understand why people do this. Why don't they get a life? Why don't they seriously get some hobbies? Huh?
Exactly. Well, and more importantly, the question, it ultimately falls back onto you, right? So when you say that, why don't they get a life and this and that, what you really need to be saying is, okay, how do I just break out of this? Forget it. Put it down. Stop. Give up on it, and limit your responses as a result. So that
because all of a sudden, if I wouldn't have done anything yesterday, the day after the nice phone call,
right?
If I would have done nothing, I could judge myself, or she could judge me as someone who didn't show appreciation to try to keep the relationship going.
Right.
So what I'm doing is I'm just checking back in with someone the next day. It's really good to hear from you. I'm having some coffee. If you want to give me a call or a text, that'd be great. It was good to hear your voice yesterday.
Right.
Something can be sent back. Hey, I'm busy. I ran out of toilet paper on that Walmart. I'll call you tomorrow. Something simple.
Yeah.
Simple, man.
Right.
I mean, it doesn't have to be anything huge. That's what I don't understand. I guess are people who are if maybe I need to get a life. I'm the one that's excited to hear from this person? I mean, maybe either I'm stuck in quarantine and I feel like a useless loser because of it, or I actually do need to get a life after quarantine.
I don't know. I think there's both. I think you're hitting the nail on the head in regards to both, right? There's definitely a part of narcissistic abuse that comes from our own neediness. It's important to understand that. And you're wrestling with that right now, so you understand that. Right? You're even asking yourself, and you're telling yourself, man, maybe I need to get out of this. I need to stop associating. I need to stop reaching out. I need to stop trying to talk. I need to stop trying, right?
Stop trying.
Part of the issue with empathic people and people like you and me who want answers, we want to try and figure this stuff out. We've got to stop trying with certain individuals.
Okay, then if the folks that are watching don't mind me asking another question, then I mean,
go ahead.
What are we supposed to do as men in today's society where a woman, if she really wanted to, could take a smile, a passing smile in the hallway, turn it into a phone number, turn it into a date, turn it into a text, turn it into a relationship, turn it into, turn it into physical and sexual relationship, and then turn it into whatever they want. And then, meanwhile, I've been wishing I never would have smiled at anyone ever in my life.
I got the answer for you right now, right? A woman has no power to do any of that. A woman has no power to do anything that you don't give permission for, right? So can a woman smile? Yes. Can a woman wrap herself in a tight dress with her boobs popping out the top, her butt hanging out the back, wink at you and grab you and say, hey, if you come over to my house, I'll show you a really good time? Yes, a woman can do all that. But can a woman make you go along with it? The answer is no. So the answer to your question is to understand your own power, to be able to say, nah, get away from me. Get away from me, dirtbag. Even if it's a good-looking woman, it doesn't matter. Get away from me, dirtbag. Listen, and I don't know if you're if you're a religious person or not, but there's a lot of good instruction in the book of Ecclesiastes, I believe it is. King Solomon wrote letters to his son, and he warned his son in this book, right? He said, watch out for the pretentious woman who will call to you from her doorway of her house, saying, come in, young man, let us drink our fair share of love. Right? The men are out. My bed is made with silk sheets. I have wine. Come on in, young man. Let me show you. Let me rock your world, basically, is what this woman is calling out to this young man. And King Solomon, in his wisdom, said, don't go near her. Stay away. Walk around the house, because at the end of it, she will sting you like a viper. It's a deadly warning, and it's very true. And so, when we as men say, well, what do we do? The women have all this power. They can wink and turn it into a phone number and turn it into a date and turn it into sex and then turn it into calling the police on us. No, they can't. It gets that far because the entire time you're saying, yes, okay, I'll follow you. Okay, I'll do what you say. Okay, like a little lost puppy. And that's what we got to stop. We got to say no.
So cooperating. So I mean, what sucks is that the solution becomes don't cooperate. Do what you want.
Yeah, don't cooperate.
How is that? Today's society today is begging for men
that's right.
to show women that we are emotional, that we care, and that we think that they matter. So what someone like me will do is, if she has a date idea, I'll just do it because it sounds like a good idea. I have my date ideas too, but I'm trying to let her know early in the relationship that I trust her ideas too. It's just that I think by the time the relationship becomes more established, she starts to think that that's really who I am all the time. It's like, no, I was trying to show you that I actually respect the fact that this is, we are in a team. It's like a team effort. It's not that I don't want to make my own decisions. It's that I like to give the power of deciding where we might eat or what we might do as a gift.
Right.
Like I give it one day, and then they give it the next day. Oh, this is Charlie's day. Oh, this is Jennifer's day, and then Charlie and Jennifer get to trade, leading the way on that particular date. If Charlie wants to, go to the baseball game, that's cool, and then she enjoys that. Then they talk about the zoo. Then the next day they go to the zoo, and while they're at the zoo, they talk about the hockey game, and then the next day they're at the hockey game.
Right.
And this could be once a month, like the date once a month.
Yeah.
What's wrong with this? Why do us men have to be like, oh, well, you were nice right away? It's like, well, yeah, we're both being nice to each other. We're trying to respect each other. We both don't know each other yet.
Right.
That's what happens early in a relationship. And I think sometimes women take that and they turn it into like a license to get the green light on every decision.
Yeah, so we got to be very careful with our questions. Don't give up your power. Make the best morally sound decisions that you can make for your own life that are going to protect you. That's all you can do. That's all we can do. And we got to stop handing over our power. And my other suggestion, my other answer to this question is to get rid of the word trust from our vocabulary. The word trust.
Oh, really?
I trust you. I trust you. I trust you're going to. What that's doing is saying, I'm giving all my power over to you to make the decision for me. So let's stop that. And with that, I'm gonna let you go and then answer some questions from the chat. But I'm glad that you called from Las Vegas. Thank you for calling.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
All right. Have a great night. All right. So I want to answer a question before we wrap it up tonight from Cutter Q, who Dee Doll and also Tanya brought to my attention. Cutter Q says, I have a question. I know someone that blamed me of doing something I didn't do. And when I defended myself, they said that just proves I was guilty and trying to hide it. Is that narcissism? Absolutely, positively, yes. Narcissists are notorious for making up stories of what other people do to make them look bad. And they wait for people to defend themselves. And they absolutely will say, you're guilty. Is that why you're entertaining it? That's why you're defending it. You're guilty. You did do it. Right? It's part of a sick game. Again, like 6-year-old children, part of the games that narcissists play. Excuse me. But if you're dealing with that Cutter Q, if you're dealing with that type of a personality, somebody who's doing that, setting things up for you, and then when you say, no, I didn't do that, say, aha, see, you did it because you're defending yourself. Get away from that person. Stay away. Right? Because if you're not involved, you're not engaged, then they really have nothing to say that you did. And if you have no answer for it, it stops being fun for them, right? Narcissists get some sick pleasure out of the engagement. The moment you say something, they kind of like that, right? It shows narcissists that you're in their world. I'm at the point now where if narcissistically abusive people said something to me online, and I'm not talking about, I get weird comments all the time on YouTube, but the siblings that I've dealt with, if they said anything weird or tried to accuse me, or just been weird, it's been so long in between since we've contacted each other, I would actually make it very awkward for them, right? I would just fire back with, what are you talking about? Who are you? Type of a thing, even though they're siblings, So you don't want to, but when you're first dealing with it, you don't want to entertain it at all. Get away from it. Get away from it. Get away from the lies. Hope that helps. All right. With that, everybody, I'm going to go ahead and sign out. I know that there's a huge lag time. I don't know how long the lag is tonight, but I'm going to go ahead and sign out tonight. And hopefully everything will work out. I'm going to put the song on, and I want to remind you guys to go ahead and like and subscribe. Hopefully YouTube will figure out their issue with what was going on with YouTube's end tonight. Really crazy. Anyways, blessings to all of you. Have a great night, everybody. And we'll be back tomorrow night. Hopefully tomorrow night will be a whole lot easier. Everything will be a whole lot smoother. All right? Have a great night, everybody, and we'll see you tomorrow night on The Royal We Live. Thanks for being here.